Hi Virgo, happy September. Thank you for your patience. I greatly appreciate it. Watch Libra's reading. There was some kind of, I started out, I was trying to do your reading first, and I got a swift kick to the back of the shoulder to do Libra. So I did. And I mean, I really didn't see anything over there that would warrant that, but somehow it must be affiliated, or it has nothing to do with you either. But your house is joined, so I'm going to say just check that out anyway, because I think there might be someone that's got some kind of chronic, you know, like pain or some kind of chronic, maybe like I don't know, like arthritis or joint pains or something like that, or something that would you know, shoulder injury or something like that. You might be for someone. Okay, so again, thank you so much for your patience. I greatly appreciate it. I honestly am I'm doing the best that I can do. All right, so we come in with the main energy of the Lover card. Okay. And your Oracle card is letting go. Okay. Allow the wisdom to remain. Okay. Your two readings are going to be a doozy today. Okay. Allow the wisdom to remain, but the sting I shall never feel again. Okay. So it tells me that's fresh. This is fresh. Or you're stuck in limbo on something. And I don't say stuck as in belittling that. Sometimes things are harder and longer, and you get through them when you get through them, period. It just is what it is, right? But they're both number 6s. And 6s are things that are good for a time, right? We always need to up our game. We always need to be progressing, learning, growing. Sometimes when a relationship doesn't do that, it just means that you need to either reconnect, right? You need to either make each other aware of that. You need to do things in a way that you're both on the same page. And it doesn't mean you need to agree on things. It just means, hey, you know what? This is how I grow. This is what I'm feeling like. It's just keeping each other in the know, I guess, is what I'm saying here for some of you. For others of you, it's about patterns, letting things go. Are you in love with love? Do you get into relationships perhaps that fall short or don't have sustainability, or you're finding yourself in relationships with the same kind of people, just a different face, right? It's about stuff like that. With the Lover's card, I'm going to say you want to apply reason in here. Sometimes I'm going to show you your cards. I broke them down into week 2, by the way. And I have messages here, so I'm going to pull Sevilla's too. We'll work that out, but I know that today is the 5th, and I did week by week, 4 weeks, right? But we don't hold these to time constraints, okay? I think we've got enough here to show you what's going on for the month, okay? But again, whatever decisions you make sure that your heart is in this, right? Because we're never going to be successful in anything, even in negotiations with partners too, if we're not able to listen and hear, right? It needs to be the two-way dialogue there. With people, of course, that are on board with you. I'm not saying spin your wheels, waste your time with, you know, a lump on the couch who's not willing to do anything for the relationship. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about healthy relationships that might be in a rut at the moment, right? For some of you, I think you are trying to deal with things. You may have realized that maybe you gave too much emphasis or too much thought, or you thought someone or something was going to go a certain way, and it may have fallen short, right? And you find yourself here again having to let go. The good news, I really like what this card says though, and it's about allow the wisdom to remain. What did I learn from this? Because we learn something from every relationship, and I know someone's probably just flipping me off saying, lady, that does not matter much right now. I am so pissed and so hurt that, you know, I get it. We've all been there. We're human, right? We've all been there. But the sting shall never feel again, meaning you will get through this and you'll be stronger for it. And who cares, honestly, if you're meant to fall into a pattern or get stuck in some kind of relationship rut for a few times, a few go-arounds with different people, same kind of thing. So what? That means that your soul needs to learn things in a certain way. It learns things by repetition. We all learn things separately. So people that will say sometimes to other people, I'll see they'll jump on them for, why can't you just get over that? Or what is the problem here? Or why do you keep dating these same kind of people? Or why do you keep? Sometimes our souls need to really get something, right? Like I spoke about in one of the other videos, I don't think it was for this month, but I can't remember. But sometimes it's not about longevity. We can be in a shitty relationship for a really long time, but it takes that one traumatic event, you know, coming home and finding something viewable, right? We're visual creatures. That will send you into trauma zone. That will end that right there, right? But is it easy to get over because it ended it? No, it still stings. It's still fresh. And that could be what happened here too, right? For some of you, I think, you know, you got pulled into an illusion here of false promises, perhaps. For others of you, I think you just need to get in the same rhythm here. Okay, this speaks of committed relationships, though, in here for you. Okay, it speaks of relationships for some of you that are already committed to relationships. You're just going through rough times. You know, you need to figure this out. I wouldn't make any rash decisions right now. I would just choose your words also wisely. Just because we can say them doesn't mean they should come out of our mouths, right? We can always say we're sorry after we said something, perhaps, if we're sorry, right? But the person's not going to forget what you said. So they may forgive you, but they're never going to forget what you said. So it's kind of like people don't realize the power in words. That's why I'm always saying taste them before they come out of your mouth. And trust me, as a full-blown fire sign, I can tell you, I've learned this the hard way. But I always learn, you know, and I'll always warn you guys, stick a whole pack of gum in your mouth if you have to, because sometimes you can't do damage control just by, hey, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. The person is not going to forget how that felt. So that's all I'm saying. Be smart about this. Don't blow through your life in areas where you may just be uncertain, unhappy, restless. Sometimes these energies they have us to a point where we're just like, we can't even think anymore. And we're shooting things out of our mouth. We're tired. We're just think first and kind of think with your mouth shut before the words come out is where I'm going with that. Okay. But any kind of long-term decision that you're making right now, I would get it in the making, but I wouldn't solidify anything right now. Meaning I wouldn't pull in any new relationships, right? And I would just, if you pull them in, just walk them, see how they go. You know what I mean? Don't fully commit to them. Because chances are in this kind of energy, it's not what it appears to be. You know, so just tread lightly in that regard, right? For others of you, you may have people that come back and you're like, oh, I don't know. I still kind of remember this singing, you know, and that's singing with a Z, you know. For others of you, I'm going to put this out here because I think there might be, again, with the shoulder thing I got, there might be some kind of chronic illness here that goes back away. For others of you, I think that you may have someone, and again, I am not a medical expert. I'm not a healthcare provider in any way, shape, or form. But for some of you, you may have something chronic underlying that just keeps resurfacing. This may go back to something that you contracted years ago, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking like specifically STD kind of things. I'm talking person to person kind of things, viral things though, right? That lie dormant until certain transits come through and then they kick those up, right? That can be something that could be underlying in here. So if you've got something like that and you've not considered it, maybe put that on the table. Think back to something that happened maybe, you know, 12, 24. Think back to like places or points in times where maybe something came awry and it's just lying dormant in there. These things come up in transits now too, but they're a pain in the butt to cure because you don't really know what they are. And the doctors, they're not picking it up. You know what I mean? So it could be something viral that you contracted years ago. It could be something too where, it's like your reproductive systems, and that's for men and women too. For men, it would be, everything in that area. So it could be things like that too. So they're worth paying attention to. Get checkups now on those things. Do your yearlies now. Do things like that now. It's the perfect time for this. Okay. There you go. For others of you, I think that you might be investing too much too fast into something. You might be jumping in with 2 feet into a situation where you might find out that this person is a bit of a lazy person, or not real ambitious, or, you know, they're not really into growing. What you see is what you get. So it might be something like that too, right? There you go. Now, with this letting go card, I think these 2 cards are great. I do, right? I'm going to read to you what the card says, though. That it's the universe's way of sending you healing, okay? The very best of healing. Reconnect with the present and let go of the past, which is allowing for a new story to be written. So this relationship could be waiting here for some of you, but you've got to let go of something else first. The universe is not going to send you a balanced relationship. It'll send you more of the same. So if some of you are in crappy relationships and you're wanting new, you're going to have to make the tough steps to let the new come in. For others of you, you're in relationships that are solid. You know, they're romantic, they're this, they're that, they're established, they have longevity, you're on the same page, your goals are going in the right direction. So that's a confirmation of that. They don't necessarily have to go together. This is the energy of our reading, and this is our oracle card. They are not, I'm not an oracle card person, but I do like these, and I think that they're going to give us a little bit more depth. Okay, so for some of you, it's letting go of this to get this. Okay, and you will be wise, but you will no longer feel the fresh pain. So this just happened. Okay, for some of you. Bitterness will not be able to poison your days once you get through this, right? It's like, learn the lesson, go slow. There's no hurry here, okay? We learn everything through relationships, everything, right? So they all serve a purpose, the good, bad, and the ones that kick you in the shoulder. Okay, now our cards coming in, we've got the Moon card. We've got a lot of cards of things not being clear, right? Things just not being how they think they are. And that's the theme of rose-colored glasses. That's why I'm encouraging people, please don't solidify things right now. Just be in them, feel them. You're a very psychic sign, so pay attention to your intuition. And that's what will come in before your brain will kick the crap out of it. So I'm encouraging, write it down. Write down what your intuitive hit is, write it down. And then, because your brain's going to come right in after that. So write it down, and then maybe later in the day, go back to that, pull everything else out, and then revisit that. You'll get your answer to whatever it is in here in that method. I assure you of that. So we've got the Moon card, the first week, okay, which is like now. Okay. And the second week, you've got the Queen of Coins. Very indecisive person. Very, very, very indecisive person in relationships. Her relationship karma sits around being indecisive, not being able to make a decision, right? It's someone who knows the kind of life that they want. They work really hard for it. We all have something. That particular card has karma around being indecisive in relationships. So there you go. That's your second week coming in. Third week is the Hangman. Furthermore, you know, more indecision, maybe needing to look at something different. Maybe you're overtaxing your mind here, thinking of things 10 ways to Tuesday of how this could go wrong. You know, the last week we've got the Seven of Cups, right? Still, we're thinking. We're thinking. All right. What I want to say here is I see the theme, okay? I think for some of you, things are not as they appear to be. For some of you, too, you need to start drinking coffee. I do not know where the hell that came from, but for some of you, you do need to start. I had to write that down because it was like mid-sentence to me. And see what I'm saying? I would have forgotten that if I didn't write it down. For some of you, you need to start drinking coffee in the morning. Okay. For others of you, I feel that you might be you're willing to jump into relationships too soon. That's with the Moon card. I think that things aren't always clear. I think you might jump into things thinking, oh, this person is just so lovely. And then you're like, wow, they could really sit on that couch for a while. You know, it might be something like that. I think for some of you, you've got lazy people in your midst, or if you're being lazy, get your butt up and start working here with your partner. For some of you, you're in relationships that are stagnant, or you feel like your life is stagnant. This isn't necessarily a relationship read. It's about where am I in my life, and I want to look at the people around me. Are they going in the same direction, or are they hindering me? It's that kind of stuff, right? For some of you, you're not feeling well, and that's making for a lot of restlessness. It's making for a lot of overthinking, underthinking, compulsiveness, restlessness, right? It's that kind of energy. I think you're confused for some of you how to proceed in a relationship, and that would absolutely be that Queen card would represent that. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. That's why I'm saying know how practical something is, know what your intention is, and that kind of takes away from that, right? Is this something that I want to deal with in 5 years from now, right? Where am I going to be in 5 years from now? In a solidified relationship that we're going in the same direction, or am I going to be here again, right? That could be when we make better decisions. They're not always foolproof. They're not. But when we know our why and we know how practical something is, we know, do we both have the same financial structures? Are we both savers, or are we, one is a spender and one's a saver? She also has that overspending quality, which would throw a relationship. A lot of times if I'm doing a relationship read and things are coming up where it's not infidelity, it's not anything like that. It's like this person just blows through everything and I end up having to work just to pay off what they're spending. It's that kind of dynamic too. So you want to make sure you're on the same page with that. These are times too where, maybe there's lean months. You may just want to pull back on big expenditures right now, restructure things, rebalance things, pay off debt right now would be wonderful, right? Okay, now the Hangman, that's towards the end of the month. I think you're still in limbo. I think this month for you is just it's a month of thinking, right? Which is great. I wouldn't make any concrete decisions anyway, but I think that towards the end of the month with that 7 of Cups, you're trying to make a decision still. Make sure that the rose-colored glasses are off. This Venus retrograde goes to the end of the year. It's long. It's about self-worth. It's about how we value ourselves, the value we have in other people, the value that other people, and I'm not saying this in a superficial way, but is this person helpful or are they hindering your growth? That's what you're trying to look at here, right? I think some of you are looking for truth in some things. I don't see anything here that would say, nothing here really is screaming infidelity. It's not. It's screaming, how happy am I? Am I happy? Ask yourself, are you happy? And if you're not, because it's not another person's priority or responsibility to make you happy, but are we growing together? Is this relationship helping me grow, right? Or is it hindering me? Are we on the same page or are we not, right? For most of you, you are. For a lot of you, this is a very healthy relationship. I think you're very well suited for each other. I feel that very strongly. And for some of you, I just want to bring this up too, regardless of sex. If you're getting kickback from someone on something, this is a great relationship for you. I would not strongly advise you to not give up a relationship that you're truly in love with someone because someone doesn't like the fact that you're gay or that you're, whatever. Who cares that this person is black and you're white, they're yellow and you're green? Who cares? If you're happy and you're in love here, I would stick to your course. I would not. That could be what's confusing you. You're getting too much input from, oh no, this is your life though. So it doesn't need to work for everyone. For other people, this is about literally the human race and what we're going through, because relationships are not, we learn from where, we have our circle, but we're also part of a bigger picture here. So this is looking at things. Maybe your perspective on relationships in general are changing. Maybe the things that you thought you wanted in a relationship are changing, right? I know a lot of people are changing things like that. A lot of people are moving to communities now where there's actual community. A lot of people are moving back in with their close family, their close-knit family. They're doing that, financial reasons, and they're doing that for, hey, this really works. And it's longevity it comes through being part of a community. Feeling needed, feeling loved, feeling taken care of other people. It's a sense of community sits in here too. That's right up your alley, right? That's what I think is going on here. Reconnect with the present. Don't get stuck in the past here. Give this its due, right? You want to pay attention to why this keeps happening. This is like trying to put a Band-Aid on a hemorrhage, though. If this is a pattern that you've got in relationships, you want to look at, backtrack. Don't get stuck there, but backtrack as to where this came from. You know what I mean? And then go in a different direction that's right for you, right? But for this month, it really looks like a lot of things are glossed over. They're not clear. There's a veil here. There's illusion, delusion, uncertainty, insecurities here. I would strongly suggest against honestly making any concrete decisions here, because you come in with the rose-colored glasses on now, and that doesn't mean you're eluding yourself. It just means something is not as it appears to be here. Let me just sit on this for a minute. It can be someone with that moon card too. Someone, it's like star-crossed lovers. It's like someone crosses your path and you're like, I have to have this person, right? That could be that too. But you have to decide, is there longevity here, or am I going to end up here, right? That's all I'm saying. It could be something like that too. Like that's like love at first sight. That's like, you know, or whatever. It's just a massive connection. That's great, right? If that's the case. So there's no speed barrier here. Slow down, enjoy this, see this person who they really are, because at the end of the month, you're still making a decision, right? You're making a decision. Maybe with the 7, it's always about taking the higher octave of something, right? The 7 of Cups is like, this came out of the blue, right? The 7 of Cups, though, can mean pregnancy. I touched a little bit upon chronic things, right? So some of you may have not been able to get pregnant, or some of you may be like, you know, fertile myrtle. It may be something like that. So something like that could come into the mix here too, right? Or it's the scenario, do I want to have children? My partner, it's those things too. These are long-term assessments here, right? The Lover card is long-term. It's not the Chariot card too can be a card of lusty cards, lusty pleasures. So can the Strength card, right? There's nothing wrong with this. If you're not looking for a committed relationship, those are the cards that would show up. But these are cards about really not knowing what you're doing. Every single card in here speaks of not knowing what you're doing. But the thing is, are you looking for something? Maybe I'm just putting this out here because this is you know, if you're, I'm just going to put this out here just in case, okay? These cards all speak of, I don't see something. Something's not adding up here. This is a stable relationship. So they could be two sides of the coin where this is, you know, someone, say you just met someone, and you've got a lot of instability here. They may be already in a relationship, or you need to just say, are we exclusive or are we not? Instead of speak what you have to say. Don't not say something. If you're in question about something, and I know it sounds crazy to have to, you know, ask someone on a date, hey, are you married? Do it though, because then you spare yourself this, right? You owe it to yourself. You don't owe it to another person. You owe it to yourself. And if you've got questions, ask them, speak. Those are the things that should be coming out of your mouth, not the things we spew out and think, oh, was that out loud, right? Not those things, but these kind of things, you need to get them out on the table. Ask the questions. You've got nothing to lose here because you're already kind of suspended already. So ask the right questions, right? The Hanged Man also can be, hey, maybe I need to change the way I'm looking at something, right? Maybe I don't need to be so indecisive about things, right? But a lot of this can be too about budgeting. You know, financial instabilities in a relationship are ranked just as high as infidelity for divorce rates. So maybe you need to restructure a balance. Maybe you need to, you know, are we going in the same direction? Do we want to move somewhere in 5 years? Let's get our, you know, let's restructure our stuff here. Or is this person not willing and going the same direction as you? And they're more about a me than a we. You may want to just look at that. So I'm saying, I think this was good. I think you're in an indecisive place. right? For some of you, I don't think you're feeling well. I think this is a minor chronic illness. It's still a pain in the ass for sure, but that's a good thing to know. Not a healthcare provider. So maybe that sheds some light, right? For some of you, maybe you have some pulled ligaments or tendons, or maybe it's an old injury gets, like your back goes out and from a snowmobile accident, say, years ago, it goes out periodically now. It can be something like that too, or a sports injury, something like that, okay? So be careful with that. Be careful with accidents. Watch out for potholes. Don't step in front of buses, things like that. Let me pull a Sevilla. I am sorry for these taking so long. So let me see here. I want to see a few things. Let's get some more clarity here for some of you. Okay, Virgo. The Virgo constellation. Okay, the King of Cups here. I was clarifying the Hangman, and this is someone maybe about to retire, go in a different direction. Again, it's someone who is retiring, someone who's expecting money. Okay, the Hangman is, you may be expecting money from something, and it may be delayed. Absolutely. And you still go out the end of the month. I would not sign anything. I would not try to... The King of Cups up in the corner, though, too, on a balanced day, which this reading isn't balanced as far as elements go, okay? So that's okay. We just need to be aware of that. Emotions, though. The King of Cups in an unbalanced reading is someone who's not emotional. Who's not balanced emotionally, right? It's someone who's always looking for maybe more, like, this perhaps, and one of your messages coming in was you may be willing to give away too much too fast to someone else. You know what I mean? Like you may be in it too fast for someone else and the other person is indecisive. You know what I mean? It could be something like that too. But clarifying the Hangman is you may not just, you're in limbo. You don't know where you stand. And that would absolutely be this. But it could also be money coming in. This doesn't need to be a relationship. It can be a job you're waiting for. It can be something like that is held up. The Queen of Coins is a business person too. It could be your loan officer. You're waiting on a mortgage. You're waiting on a payout. You're waiting on something that's been held up that's owed to you monetarily. You may have retired. You may have been let go. You may have been laid off. You're waiting for money to come in now. Okay. So it comes in towards the end, like the third, it comes in towards the end of the month. Okay. Okay. See, things turn around. You've got the Two of Coins, and I'm clarifying this. Just look at this card. It's pleasant pastimes. It's the Two of Coins, though, right? It's another card, though, of indecisive balancing. But have fun. Your message in here, too, was be in the moment. Bitterness will not be able to poison your days. Allow the new story to be written. Reconnect with the present. That's what this is saying. Make choices that make you happy. Make choices that keep you present, right? So the end of the month, I still feel, though, you're balancing things. So you're going to have to restructure some things on your day-to-day, right? Because I will say this to you, Virgo constellation, you are ruled by the 6th house. That's our day-to-day stuff, right? The day-to-day stuff, if we don't tend to that, how do we engage with other people on our day-to-day? Those are the moment things. That's why I'm not a big advocate of long-distance dating, because it's the day-to-day stuff that makes and solidifies a relationship. And I don't say this from personal, I say this from statistics, and I've done this long enough to see it, right? It's our day-to-day things that we overlook. What happens when someone leaves? It's not so much we miss our routine. We miss our routine with that person. Even if it was something ridiculous that they irritated us. They were slobs. They did this. They did that. They parked on the wrong edge of the driveway. You had to move cars just to get out of the driveway. Things like that. Anything. But it's restructuring these things on our day-to-day, because if we don't, that's what we end up with in the 7th house. Those are the kind of relationships of all kinds willy-nilly or well organized, right? All right, I want to do the Queen of Coins here. You may be waiting on something, but I think you get it like the third, towards the end of the month. For some of you, at the end of the month, if you're out somewhere marketing, and I say that like, I mean marketplace, like jewelry marketplace, things like that, you may come across something that has a lot more financial value. You may find something too that has more value, or something that brings you more pleasure, or something like that towards the end of the month. Okay. Okay, very nice. We've got the Success card, clarifying the Queen of Coins. So you will be successful in here. You'll start to see movement probably next week, okay? Your hard work will pay off. If you've been busting your butt on something, you're about to see the return for it for sure. That could be what the payoff is towards the third week, okay? Very nice. You may have completed something too. I know I've got people that are in courses and they're completing them to get their licenses now. So that could be perfect. And that could be anything though. It's anything you're investing in. If you've been having trouble in a relationship too, that 10 of Wands, which is up in the corner, is a card that says the relationship is stronger after that. Speak, say. People aren't mind readers, especially men, and I mean no disrespect, but you've got to be crystal clear. Just say it direct. Don't candy coat it, just say it, okay? I get that complaint from men often. I don't know what the hell she's saying, or I don't know what he's saying. Be direct, be clear. You'll get the answers, or you'll get the response. Sometimes people just, you know, how do they not know? Not everyone's a mind reader. Tell them, you know. Okay. Okay, you've got something coming in with that Moon card. You're unclear about it. But it's the 10 of Coins. It's money coming in. It's security. It's you're going to get your footing back. If this is you and you're letting something go, you're coming out of this. You're coming out of this. Someone's coming in. A message is coming in. There's a relationship coming in. The 10 of Coins is a long time coming. You're owed this, right? It's ancestry. It's inheritance. It's money coming in. It's community. It's I know where my home is. This is my community. This is where I feel needed and heard and wanted and loved, and this is where I need and I hear and I want and I love other people. Yes. There you go. I hope that I helped you in some way. I think this reading was great. I really do. I think you're right where you need to be. You just need to clean house a little bit in every area, and that makes things lovely. You'll find in your 7th house, it's a hell of a lot easier once you keep your 6th house clean. So there you go. Just remember, in astrology, you know, it's the constellations, it's the houses, it's the planet, it's who's doing what where. It's so simple. Who is doing what where, and you'll know exactly what's going on. And just look at your opposite houses, because it fills in the other half of the coin. That's my interpretation. That's my personal view. That's how I, you know, look at things. So please don't send me hate mail, astrologers, that this isn't how you do it. It's how I do it, and it works for me. So I hope it works for you. So there you go.